Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this 65th. I told you, Joan, we'd make it 65. The 65th episode of the Political Spotlight. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday night. We're not even supposed to be here today. We're not supposed to be here. Fridays we're normally off. Hello. Wanda, Joey, Philip. Wow, I did get a haircut. Yeah, I did. You know, it's amazing. Did what I needed to do, I guess. It's horrible. I need a shave. I was told not to shave, but I think it looks bad. I don't know. We'll find out. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We had so much fun last night. Man, I was literally so sick last night. I was sick to my stomach. It was horrible. But then by the time we got through Eric, I was like, okay, I'm all right. So we're good. We're back to normal, and everything's going well. So we have another hat trick for y'all. Anybody know what a hat trick is? We got another three-peat. 1 and 1 and 1 is 3. Gotta be so good looking because you're so hard to see. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first half of this show, we're going to be talking to 3 candidates, again, from the Winchester, Indiana area. Tonight is a little bit different because it's not 3 Libertarians. It's 2 Democrats and a Libertarian. Sounds like a really, really bad adult film. So tonight we will be talking with Mr. Hugh Coy Applegate, a gentleman I've known on social media for a long time, lived in a community like really. You want to
try his name again there, bud?
What was it?
Hugh Coy Applegate. Corey?
Oh, damn. Well, yeah, I knew.
You got Corey Bory Fink on the mind?
That's exactly what it was. It's exactly, yeah. It's the Hugh that throws me off. Oh. It's the Hugh that does it. That's what kills me. I could say Coy Applegate all day long, but you throw in that Hugh, and I'm like, who?
Hugh. My brother's middle name is Hugh, so for a long time he thought his last name was a bad word because, your parents, when you're in trouble, yell out, your full name, Eric Hugh Chadwick.
Yeah.
And so he would hear it as you.
Yes.
So he thought Chadwick was a bad word for a long, long time.
That's hilarious.
So let's get the poor man's name right, at least.
Yeah.
Hugh Coy.
He's running for office. We'll do it again. Stephen Coy it's Hugh Coy. Hugh Coy Applegate. He's definitely not a serial killer or an assassin because those names just do not flow well together. No Lee Harvey Oswald. James Earl Jones here. That's a hard name to say. I don't know why I can't do it. Hugh Coy Applegate. Now there is an introduction for a candidate. He is running for Winchester's District 1, and then after Mr. Applegate, we will be talking with Karen Joy Wilkins. Now she could be a killer. That could be Karen Joy Wilkins. It just flows right out. She is Coy is a Libertarian. He's the one and only Libertarian on the show tonight. Karen Joy Wilkins is a Democrat running for District 2. Remember, most of the races in Winchester, folks, is just a 2-candidate race. So most of the Winchester races are a Republican incumbent against a Libertarian. However, in a couple of our races, in 2 races specifically, we have the Republican incumbent versus a Democrat versus a Libertarian. So it's a 3-way runoff. And one of those races is the District 2 race, where we will see the District 2 guy. I don't know who it is. It's Bear, John. They're all the same to me. I don't really know. They all run together. One of those guys versus the Democrat, Karen Joy Wilkins, and the Libertarian, Eric Lewis, who we met last night. And then, of course, District 3, we already got that out of the way last night. And then in District 4 is the other one that has a three-way runoff, where we have the absent and missing Lisa Friend Teal versus the very present Democrat, who we will meet in just a few moments, Joan Ashley. And Joan's a lot of fun. And then the Libertarian, who you met last night, was Lydia Carpenter. So we're going to be talking with, I'm going to call him Coy. We'll be talking with Coy, Karen, and Joan tonight, finding out what they've got to say and talking with them. And then on the backside of that, we're going to be doing some cleaning up some loose ends, and wrapping up a few things, some odds and ends and things like that. So we're going to be talking about Winchester and Muncie, Delaware County. We're also maybe talking about Henry County a little bit towards the very, very end. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be welcoming the non-serial killer, Hugh Coy Applegate.
Hey, Chris, thanks for having me on tonight.
How's it going, buddy?
Oh, it's amazing. Hey, don't feel bad. I was in kindergarten before I found out what my first name was. So
I love it. I love it. That's amazing. So I was talking to Josh, and he was like, so we've got like 4 people running in this race. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, there's like, we've got whoever's on, John, and he was like, I was like, who's Hugh? And I was like, oh yeah, it's Coy. I didn't know. I've known you for a long time, and I think this year is the first time that I've known that's your name. So, it is what it is. But you prefer to go by Coy, right? Or what do you go by?
Yes, sir. I go by Coy.
That's what I thought. So, well, why don't you tell the folks, I know you, but for the folks that don't know you, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm Coy Applegate, as Chris said. Currently, I'm working at the Walker Funeral Home, and then I'm like Chris also said, I'm running for Winchester City Council District 1 as Libertarian. That's about it. Got a wife and 2 kids and dog, and
yeah, you left out the important part. You're a married father, so
yeah.
you got a family. You living in Winchester. You were born and raised in Winchester, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I thought. So you're one of the lucky ones, the chosen few that was born there that didn't come in. So you might have a chance.
Never know.
So what you've, in all the years I've known you, you've been very I would say fairly outspoken about local and state politics. You always seem to be kind of involved and in the know of what's going on. So what drew you to deciding that you wanted to run?
I've been thinking about it for about 2 years now, but I think the final straw that really made me want to do it was whenever we did the primary, and in one of the only contested races in Winchester, we had 39 people show up to vote. And that just, kind of showed how much voter apathy we do have here in Winchester and Randolph County in itself. So I figured maybe I could stir the pot a little bit and, get people to at least think about voting. And then, then everything else started happening with, what's going on in Winchester now. So yeah, it's been kind of the driving force to make me decide to put my name in the hat.
Kind of like a perfect storm. This is Winchester, from the time that I first moved to Winchester, in the early like the 10s or 10, 11, 12, around in there, there was never contested races. You might have one contested race in the city, and you might have one in the county. I think there was an election where there was no contested race. They had the election anyways. We wasted a whole bunch of money, and everybody just was the same people elected. But, this is a big thing for Winchester. There's not a whole lot of Democrats running, but there are a whole lot of Libertarians running. I would venture to say, and I don't know why the state party doesn't do something about this, but I would say that the Libertarian Party in Winchester is probably one of the most active at the moment. And I can't believe how many people that they have currently running for municipal government. That's kind of interesting, but every race is contested except clerk's office. And then the city court judge is extinct. So there is no city court judge. So you're running for District 1. What do you think that you can bring to the council table? What do you think that you could do for the citizens of your district?
Well, I think my biggest gift or contribution really could be that, I am kind of out everywhere in the community. So, I can really be well poised to listen to people, to get their comments, to get their thoughts, and, take that back to the council instead of just living in my own little echo chamber and, hey, Bob wants to pass this. We'll just go ahead and pass it without even discussing it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm rather outspoken anyway. So if I don't like something, I'm not just going to be, sure,
Right.
Let's just do it. And yes, Joey, I do support reading the ordinances and resolutions in full. I think not doing it is the worst thing you could do because, it's like some of the stuff we pass on the federal level. It's just so much pork spending that if you don't know what's in there, like what Nancy Pelosi said, you won't know what's in there till you vote for it.
Yeah, you got to vote for it to know what it is. It's absolutely mind-numbing.
It's asinine, yes.
Yeah. Well, and that's I didn't even think about it until I said it last night to one of the candidates, but there are actually current council members, and there definitely were council members in the past that literally would go pick their packet up 4 or 5 minutes before the council meeting, and they would get it there. They would set it on the desk. They would open it up when the meeting started, and they would pull the top paper out, and they would lay it on, and they would read the ordinance or the resolution by title or number and only, and then they would vote. And so that council person who was voting literally never even read the thing. So they're literally reading, they're voting on how cool the numbers sound together, and it's like, what is going on at that point?
Oh yeah, it's totally. I'm on the what is it called? The Area Planning Commission.
Oh yeah.
And we get our, before our meetings, like up to a month before. I mean, I know that's kind of unrealistic at the council level, but for those meetings, we're getting our stuff a month before so we can go through it, read it, and even kind of take the temperature of is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Do we really want to do that or not? So yeah, it's having it the longer period of time lets you get the most knowledge out of it.
Sure, absolutely. How long have you been on the area planning?
I was the citizen appointee since what year is this? 2022.
Okay.
I started February, and then first of the year they voted me vice president.
Okay. Well, I did not know that. So, I mean, obviously that's not a board that meets, every month. It meets intermittent
as needed. Yeah, just meets as needed.
But surely that's got to give you a little bit more of an insight on, kind of what goes on in the meetings and whatnot.
Right.
How do you, I mean, I know personally where you fall on this, but for the people that are out there that don't know you, what's your belief as far as citizens engagement during the meetings, being able to speak during or like the ordinances before the vote and public concerns and whatnot. Where do you fall in that debate?
Well, obviously, we need to have the input, especially, if things don't change and we're only getting stuff 10 minutes before the meeting. We definitely need to know what everybody's thinking. I mean, it's just like the one you guys fought last year on the social media things and everything else. If they would have just taken 10 minutes to get out of their little bubble and see what's really going on, you wouldn't have wasted the time or paper to print that stuff up.
Yeah, because they ended up they voted for it, and then they ended up, repealing it, a couple, maybe a month or 2 months later.
Whatever, right.
And it's like, that was there was just the whole thing was a wasted, thing. And it did not make sense. So what do you feel is Winchester's, the greatest issue facing Winchester? What do you think that is?
For me personally, I honestly think it is kind of the housing situation we have right now. I mean, a couple weeks ago, I went on realtor.com just to kind of, find out how much the normal median house price is. And it's coming in somewhere like $250,000 for a house. And for the, single mom that, may work at a convenience store or McDonald's or whatever, they're never going to buy a house. So they have to rent. And then you go, through the different places where you can find rentals, it's like $900 to $1,000 for a 2-bedroom home. And that's just ridiculous. So, everybody says we need to get workers here. We need to get this, that, and everything else here. But, we're not giving them a homing situation where they can make this their home and, live here, shop here, and do everything else here. So obviously that's, one thing we really need to look at and see if there's anything we can do to help bring that down.
Absolutely. One of the things that I have been curious about is, I know that the council, I agreed with the council doing what they did with the court because I believe that the judge that was elected for the court was just terrible. I think that he either didn't know what the commitment would mean, or I don't know what he did, but he got so behind that you were getting pulled over for a speeding ticket in Winchester, and if you would continue it enough and ask for continuance, you could highly likely go 2 or 3 years between the ticket and the time that you would actually appear in court. And it's just mind-boggling that's a reality. But it started losing money for the city, and it was a drain. And so they eventually killed the court off. And then, you guys in Winchester, should be really pissed off because you've been paying a man to sit his ass at home for the last year. You've been paying him as judge, to sit there doing nothing. Would you be in favor of maybe examining what Winchester would need to do to maybe reopen the court and ignite that position with a different person, obviously? But what's your thoughts on the court? Because right now, all of that is going to Yorktown. It's going
Union City.
I've said it twice. It's going to Union City, and that is just all of that money's going to Union City. It's a waste really for Winchester.
Oh yeah, I definitely would support reopening our city court and getting it back going, because I mean, like you said, it's just ridiculous sending it over there, and they're on their schedule, and as we've seen with different citizens that have had things over there, doesn't seem like a lot's getting done anyway. So
absolutely. Well, very good. I've got another question here, and then we're gonna do again like we did last night. I'll give you the last word to say what you want to say after the final question here, and then we'll bring you all on at the end. But the one of the biggest issues facing the city government is the issue with the police department, the fire department, the EMS. We are in a national crisis right now where it's hard to hire good police officers. And when you can't hire good police officers, then you get the bottom of the barrel officers, and they're the people that abuse people's rights. They're the people that, hurt the public and do things that get the city in legal trouble. So what's your thoughts there about what Winchester would need to do over the next couple years to try and maybe shore that up a little bit?
Well, I totally agree with what Niles has said on a lot of things, that, we really need to look at where our wasteful spending is going so that we can get it back and then, get the right people in the job. Because, I'm even though, it's kind of a requirement right now, I do not like my officers working 12-hour shifts, because 12 hours turn into 16 hours. You're tired. You can't do stuff. You're sitting in a car, and it's just like, you get, to hour 14, 15, and 16. Are you doing a lot of good?
Yeah, no. I agree with you there. A lot. It's a danger for the officer. It's a danger for the public. And when you're making mistakes in hour 12 or 13 or 14, that's, you're making possible mistakes that could cost you or your partners your life, or someone in the, just the citizens. So that is not a good thing.
Well, before I went to the funeral home, I worked in corrections in Newcastle at the correctional facility over there. And speaking from experience, we were all for 12-hour shifts, but we never worked 12 hours. It was always 16. So yeah, I mean, by the end of the shift, you're just ready to go home, and you got a domestic somewhere. You're really not rolling in with the best eyes to do a lot of good.
Right. Well, and people don't understand when you're working 12 hours on, you're really devoting. It's almost, it's not a life, because if you're doing 12 hours here, even if it's straight 12, you're getting ready an hour beforehand, and maybe you've got a little bit of a drive or whatever. You do that, and then by the time you get off at the 12th hour and you've got an hour drive to go home, and you tear all that off, you're really at home 8 or 9 hours, and it's really, really, really crazy.
And that's if you're lucky and actually get out on time and don't have end of shift reports and
right,
yada 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 you have to deal with.
Absolutely. Well, that's I appreciate you coming on. Do you my voice is a little out. I used to do a mean Paul Bearer imitation, so we could maybe work together, but what is your last elevator pitch, things that you would want the citizens to know, maybe something that we haven't covered, or what's the last your last word?
Well, I just want everybody to know, especially in District 1, I honestly would appreciate your vote to, get a chance to get in there, and hopefully, we get enough of us in there and get Niles in there where we can really initiate some great change for Winchester. Because if not, it's sinking, and it's not a fun ride right now.
No. I always tell people that, everyone always talks about how Ridgeville used to be really kind of a neat little town, and it's just a ghost town now. And I'm like, yeah, how do you think things like that happen? You get towns that can blow up and, dry up and blow away. And Winchester, in my opinion, is a town that is on the verge of doing that.
I mean, right now, if we didn't have, some of the, usually it's the first thing that goes in a community before it goes is the schools. You're watching that with Modoc right now. I mean, if Union would close, Modoc is dead.
Yeah.
And, we need to not get that far down.
Yeah. Well, very good. I appreciate it. And I hope you can hang on with us here, and I'll bring you back up at the very end with everyone. So thank you for coming on and talking with us, and you're always welcome back here, and we'll definitely be watching the election, and we wish you luck.
Oh, thanks for having me, sir.
Yep. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Hugh Coy Applegate running for District 1 seat in Winchester City Council. Next up on our list is Miss Karen Joy Wilkins. We're going to poll her up and see what she has to offer.
Hi.
Ta-da! Hello, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
All right. So
I promise I'm not a serial killer.
all right, because your name is much easier to say with those three that just pop off like that. Much easier than his. So you could be. I don't know. So last night I forgot to ask the biography question to my second person. So we will not do that with you. Give the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm pretty much a lifelong resident of Winchester. Moved here when I was a kid, did a little bit of moving around and moved back before I graduated here, class of 2000. Been involved with politics since I was a kid. Did model legislature in high school. I also was in the Richard Lugar Symposium. I did a study with former U.S. Rep David McIntosh for a feasibility study on the U.S. 27 corridor to see if it would be feasible for 27 to be 4 lanes from Richmond to just south of Decatur, because it was already 4 lanes there. And then took a little bit of a break from politics, got married, had a kid. She's 21 now.
Oh, wow.
I started to get back into politics about 2015, ran in 2019 for District 2 against Bear.
Okay.
And so this is round 2. Hopefully I can beat him this time, and no offense to Eric, hopefully I can beat him also.
Right. And I mean, that's one of the good things with everybody that's running right now. I mean, for the most part, everybody's friendly. And you guys it's not like you guys are like duking it out against each other. You're mostly, you guys are all trying to say, we need new life on the council. We need to bring some new people in, because the council has been very stagnant for years, in my opinion. Even though it's had some change, it's basically been handed over from the person that they have wanted to be on to the next person that they have wanted to be on, and you don't see a lot of the citizenry getting elected and being on, doing things for the citizens. So what would be your approach from what the council's currently doing to what you would do as the counselor for District 2? How would you expect that to look different, and what would you have to offer?
Sorry, I just saw Joy's comment. I wanted to run for president, so I'm not going to be a presidential assassin. So what I would do differently is, I've actually had some issues that have had to go up to city council. They tried to get which we actually need, a 25 apartment unit complex built over here at the corner of 5th and Resident Street.
Yep.
But the infrastructure over here is not set up well enough for it. The streets are tiny. You weren't going to be able to get any that much traffic over here, and the rent was going to be way too high for what they were putting in. And then they were trying to say that they weren't going to, it was going to be for retired people.
Yep.
And it's right next to the park. So that wouldn't have been a good spot for it. Plus the people that were going to be investing over there said they weren't going to need any kind of TIF money or not a TIF, but
Edit.
Edit money. Thank you. And but every time he's done any other deal, he's come back and gotten it. So I ended up, the entire neighborhood got together and ended up stopping that. And then they tried to bring it back. The neighbor ended up buying it, and he's turning it into a pretty much a wildlife preserve. So it's going to help with bringing the bees and pollination insects back and trying to help regrow everything here. But as far as anything else, I want to be able to go and ask questions of the citizens instead of just being like, okay, let's just pass this right through because that's what everybody else wants on the council or the mayor wants. You need to make an informed decision. It affects not only your district, it affects everybody else, and it's going to affect right now, and it's also going to affect the future. So whatever decisions you make are going to be a significant change. So you need to look into that and see if it's going to make the right change, if it's going to benefit Winchester now, or if it's going to benefit Winchester down the road. Because if it's not going to benefit Winchester down the road, but it's going to benefit Winchester now, you have to play the cons and pros and cons on that to see if it's actually going to make it any better.
Absolutely. One of the things that I haven't actually asked any of the Winchester candidates yet, but I guess I should have. I mean, I know where they fall, but maybe the public doesn't. But I'll ask you for your opinion. The Indiana General Assembly passed a law this last go around that by 2025, all city, town, county governments that meet, that have public meetings, will have to live stream and record their meetings. So that's going to be in effect, thank God, in 2025, one way or another. One of my big things is I've been in a push telling all of the governments that don't do it, hey, why wait? Go ahead and get ahead of the curve. Let's start that now. If you were elected, your term would start. If you're elected, in 10 days, your term would start in January of 2024. Would you, as a council member, be at least, willing to look at what that cost would be and see about implementing that earlier than 2025?
Oh, definitely. They already have most of the infrastructure set up there. They've got Wi-Fi that they just keep turned off. They have the audio that's up there. And all they would really need to do is tie in a camera to the audio and be able to broadcast that out. They can broadcast it out over their Facebook page. They can even broadcast it out over a YouTube page. Sure. It's not hard, and 95% of that is actually 99% of that is free, minus your equipment that you're going to have to increase, because you've already got the Wi-Fi, you've already got the audio, and all you have to do is get the camera. You can just get a pretty cheap used cell phone that you can use for your camera.
Absolutely. I've talked to these people about this. Winchester was actually the first place I started talking to these people. I was there. I was saying, like, go get a tablet. You guys don't have a tablet here that you can't stream? They're like, well, we would have to pay for a hard drive. Do Facebook Live. Do YouTube. I put out so many videos. Josh puts out videos. We don't have just, miles and miles of hard drives sitting around. YouTube does that for us,
Yep.
that
That's
could
what the
do
cloud
the
is
same.
for.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like to hear that, and I'm glad that you're for that. And I mean, you being involved with the fight with your neighbors for that apartment complex, I think people who've had to deal with the government see how they use their meetings at different times, and it's really disheartening when you have something going on and you want everyone in the city to be involved, and you get to a meeting and there's like 10 people there, and it's like, God, where is everybody? Come on. But you realize people have to work, and people have to, maybe they're bedridden, but that doesn't mean people don't want to be involved. And so
Right.
that's
I mean,
really
I work swing shift. I work at our
Yeah.
house. So granted, if I was elected, I would be able to attend my meetings, but
sure.
when that's part of the reason I haven't been at most of the meetings this year. But if there's other people that wanted to be able to attend, they couldn't go. And if you had a Facebook or a YouTube channel, there would be the live chat that you could actually have somebody asking questions who wasn't able to be at the meeting that still had concerns.
Sure.
So you would be able to get more public involvement from more people without having to have a bigger room. But if you needed the bigger room, I know in previous times where they've had issues, they've actually used the entire fire department. Mm-hmm. They've had it outside in the fire department, moved the engines out and had it out there.
Sure. Very good. So kind of one of the elephants in the room is I think you kind of mentioned, I mean, obviously.
Yes, the agendas do need to be made public, and they need to be made public and to the people a lot sooner than the day before.
Yes.
They need to be out and available way sooner, and you need to be able to read the whatever they have,
like
they're going to be voting on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, even the packets should be available for the people to read, so that we have at least a condensed version of it, so we have an idea of what's going on, so we're informed to be able to ask the questions if they're not able to bring it to our attention. Because half the time you go up there and they read the title and the numbers. Oh, we're going to read it by title only. So you get the year and you get what bill number it is. So it's 2023-1. So it's the first bill of the year. Woohoo! Right. Great for you. But what
does that mean? Yeah. Well, Winchester needs to determine. They're real kind of bipolar in their meetings, like how many meetings they're going to have. For the longest time, Winchester was 2 meetings a month, the first and the third Mondays. And they did that, and they met. If they didn't have much to talk about, you still have citizens who know that and could come in and talk to you, could come in and hear what you're going to, want to speak. So I'm not opposed either way. Have 2 meetings, have 1 meeting, but this idea that they're saying, well, we have 2 meetings a month, but we
only cancel one.
We cancel every one because every other one because we don't want to have this. Yeah, legally you only have to have 1 meeting a month to pay the bills.
Yeah,
but
you need to have the 2, because if you don't have the 2, you don't have the opportunity to come in and redress your grievances with your counselors on the record. You need to be able to do it on the record, so it's there so everybody else can hear. Because if you just go to your counselor, no, you didn't.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Absolutely. I've experienced that. A moment ago, before we got to the agenda, I was talking about you brought up the fact that you work, and I know you've been able to keep up on meetings because like Josh has recorded them, or they've been recorded, or the minutes are there, or they've got audio. But you've also
I used to be able to listen to them live.
Yeah,
but
they don't.
that went away a while ago.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore for some unknown reason, which is ridiculous. But in talking to you earlier and kind of prepping for this, you've been a little quiet through this time, and it's not for. I mean, I don't know how you want to address that, or what your thoughts are on that. You just had some.
I've had some personal litigation that's been going on with the city involving some issues with our property. So we've just been under legal advice, just been keeping a low profile.
But that doesn't have anything.
That doesn't affect any way that I feel about anything. It's just I've been trying to keep a mute point until that's been settled. But if I was elected, that's not going to affect my performance as a counselor, because then I don't have to keep a mute point. I just have to.
I think that's I think that's all right. I mean, the thing is, when everything comes forward, this is not that big of a deal, in the grand scheme of things. It's a very, very minor issue. But
if anybody wants to go look and see what it's about, it was in the 2020 January, the second meeting of 2020 in January, and the first meeting of February, I believe.
Yeah.
And Wanda, as long as anybody wants to talk, they should be able to talk, as long as they're keeping the conversation progressing and they're not going back and just repeating and saying the same thing over and over again. You should be able to have a dialogue with your counselors and be able to have that back and forth and get your situation resolved and be able to get it resolved then. And if they can't resolve it then, they should be able to tell you, we don't have the answer for you. We'll get it, and we'll get it to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know why that's so hard. So many of these officials act like they are elected in LA or New York, and they're sitting out looking at hundreds of people in attendance. At most of these meetings, you have 10 people, 15 people there, if you're lucky, in Winchester. And that doesn't mean every one of those people is going to speak. You might have 4 of those people that are going to speak. You're telling me you can't listen to one of these guys for 10 minutes? If you've only been sitting here for half an hour, if somebody wants to, like you said, if they're not just constantly rehashing the same sentence over and over and over, if they're carrying points forward and it's a legitimate, I don't mean a legitimate point, but it's legitimate conversation, moving the ball, moving the chains forward, that should be able to be brought up. I was just gavelled down at a Muncie City Council meeting after 2 minutes, and it wasn't even a council meeting; it was a committee hearing. It was a committee, like a fact gathering mission, and I was like, "This is insane! You can't say anything in 2 minutes. That's absolutely ridiculous." So
unless you're a speed talker, you might have to get the Mighty Machine guy out to come and talk for you.
Right. So I'm glad to hear you say that. There's several other candidates that have talked about that. What do you think is Winchester's biggest problem facing the community?
Well, there's quite a few, but the biggest thing right now is we've got our drug issue that we need to help take care of. The catch and release isn't helping because we don't have anywhere to release them to actually get any help. So we need to get them somewhere to get some help, because the closest place for them to get help is in Muncie or Richmond. They have no way to get there. So we need to either get them a way to get there, or we need to bring somewhere here for them to actually get some help with like the stuff to help them get off of the drugs that they're on. I know Suboxone is one of the medications used to get people off of that kind of stuff, and they need a support group. But on top of that, we also need to bring in some jobs that actually pay enough for people to afford the housing around here, because we're under a housing crisis because there's some housing missing.
Sure. Yes.
And then we also need to get with the jobs that we bring in, they need to be a variety of different jobs. So Winchester is kind of uniquely positioned that it's in between some areas where, like Muncie, Richmond, and then you've got Fort Wayne, Dayton, and Indy. I mean, and Indy and Dayton kind of have their own bigger hubs, but then you got Greenville. But we're pretty much centered and close enough to the interstate that we would make a pretty good like warehouse distribution area.
Sure.
Down here. I've been suggesting that for years. And as far as like our blight houses, for years, I have been saying that if you go past the foundation, you can't rebuild without a zoning variance. And they keep going past the foundation. They don't get the zoning variances before they try to sell the properties. They sold the properties with the zoning variance. You could rebuild on the lot. And then you would actually be able to get some houses back. Most people don't know that they can actually go get a zoning variance to be able to rebuild on the smaller lots, because when the city was built, we didn't have those restrictions.
Sure.
And then with what Niles and with what Eric was saying yesterday, as far as even the land bank, there's a house that's getting ready to come down. One of the blight houses. I think it's the last one. And I'm not exactly sure how much they're spending, because I can't remember every figure off the top of my head. But they could have, instead of using that money to tear it down, they could have used that money to rehab it. Sure. And then put it back on the market. Granted, I mean, it's not the best location, but there's your low income housing right there. Something that's more affordable. And when you keep tearing down all of these houses, all you're doing is driving the price of housing up, which is not helping. I actually was talking to some people some younger people, college age students that I had ran into not too long ago, and asking them, I'm like, what would keep you guys in Winchester? What would bring you to Winchester? And they're like, well, we need affordable housing. We don't have that anymore. We used to have affordable housing. We just didn't have anything for them to do. We still don't have anything for them to do. So we actually need to find something for the people that we're trying to get here for them to do. We also need to work with the county to see about getting some more, and I know it's based on population, but we need to find a way around it to get some more alcohol licenses, liquor licenses, so we can actually get some more restaurants in here that can actually serve some alcohol, so that we actually have some destination places, because we actually have other places that have more than one liquor license that are holding them hostage.
Yes.
Even though I do like to frequent those establishments that have those. I'm not saying anything negative about those places. I'm just saying that it's keeping people from coming in.
Monopoly,
And then we have, if you can get more places to eat that have the things that people want to go to, you've got more places that have the environment or the atmosphere that people want to hang out at. You've got like kids, even after when I was in school, I wanted a coffee shop that I could go to when I got out of school, somewhere I could go study, that was quiet, that I could go get something to drink and hang out in. Like I always wanted to start my own coffee shop, but there wasn't exactly the best place that had it. I could get a drive-through and have like a conference room or somewhere where you could have like a little meeting area, different layers of or different levels of areas. So you could have people that wanted to have a conference or a private meeting,
Sure.
and then somewhere that was more of a hustle and bustle, and then somewhere that was more of a study area. So, I mean, there's all kinds of things we could do. And then we need to get the infrastructure here for a more stable internet connection that's actually fast, that's not monopolized by one company, Comcast.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then, so you need to get that in here. That would help with some remote jobs. At least you could get some people, remote workers, to come here and, you know, at least be here to help the economy.
Sure.
So there's lots of different ways that you can get different people to come here. You just have to have everything here for them.
For to be able to keep them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have little pieces of it. We just don't have all of it.
Yeah.
And enough of it.
Well, very good. What in wrapping up here, what would be your, I guess, a final, if something that you wanted the people that are voting in Winchester in District 2 to know about you, what would that be?
Well, I've even though I've wanted to be in politics pretty much since I was a little girl, my dream was to be the first woman president. 2020 was the first year I could officially run. I'm a little behind on my goals, but you know, sometimes you just have to go from where you can go. City council is something I feel like I can actually help.
Sure.
Something I can make a difference in. I always want to make a difference. I even tell everybody that at work, I want to do something where I feel like I can make a difference. That's kind of why I volunteer for a couple of organizations that I am in. I'm in the Indiana Federation of Business and Professional Women, and I'm also in the Sigma Phi Gamma Epsilon sorority. So basically service-based organizations that try and help, with women that trying to get back into college and studies. And I've just always wanted to be able to help everybody. So the only way to be able to help everybody is to be involved with the city and work with the county and be able to do everything that way.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, very good, Karen. I appreciate your time. You're going to be able to stick around here till the end with everybody. Okay, very good. I appreciate you coming on and talking with us, and we will see you here in just a few moments.
Thanks.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Karen Joy Wilkins. We'll be bringing her back on in just a little bit with Coy and the third guest. That leaves our third guest, and I feel like our third guest really needs no introduction, but since some of you don't know who she is, I will tell you that it is my very good and dear friend, Joan Ashley.
Thank you, Chris.
Ta-da!
Exactly.
How you doing, Joan?
Real good, Chris. I'm doing real good.
Well, I'm glad that you're here with us, and so I think I've interviewed you now twice.
This will be the second time. The last time it was as a group.
Oh, it was a group. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was all right, but I like the one-on-one a little bit better.
Yes.
you get a little bit more, FaceTime and one-on-one.
Right.
So, we've known each other for quite some time.
About like almost 8 years.
Yeah. I lived catty corner from your mother, who's just an amazing woman. Love your mom.
Thank
And
you.
love your family. You guys are great people.
Thank you.
So for those that don't know you, tell the people who you are.
All right. I'm Joan Ashley. I was born in Randolph County. My parents, Lloyd and Betty Ashley, they had 5 children. They had 4 girls and 1 boy, and I'm the 4th child out of 5. So, and when, in 1957, they bought a little farm outside of Randolph County. And I was born in 58, so I makes me a little farm girl or a little Tom girl. So the other 3, I think one was a milkman's, child, and my brother and my other older sister, because my mom used to get us kids crying about my sister, the middle child, Cheryl.
Right.
About her father was a milkman and my dad was a milkman at that time. So yeah. So that's Joan.
Well, good. None of these candidates are incumbents. They are all challengers. The candidates last night were all challengers, and Niles that I interviewed on Monday for mayor of Winchester, he's a challenger. The
Niles
whole
definitely got my vote.
Well, good.
Because I've kind of come from the old school where, that authority sergeant, and plus, I am red, white, and blue throughout.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The Constitution means a whole lot.
Yes.
My grandfather, Ashley, my dad's dad was World War I. My uncles were World War II. My dad's got 2 brothers out there on Union Street recognizing the World War II vets here in Randolph County.
Yeah.
And my uncle Clyde up in Ridgeville, where he lived, he brought the charter of the American Legion to Ridgeville.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and he's was the chief fireman there in Ridgeville. And when he passed away in the late 90s, he was taken to the cemetery on the antique fire truck, and it means very much the whole the Constitution. I respect the flag.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay.
Red Scouten.
Oh,
talked about his teacher, about the Pledge of Allegiance.
Mm-hmm.
I loved saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I did that in the last administration.
Yeah.
I come to this administration and it's like makes me puke. So I deliberately missed that part of the city council meeting.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I've noticed that. I like that you had a little prop with you there too. That's good. So for you, you're just a regular American citizen. You're not going in there trying to be anybody that you're not. You guys have been very unhappy with how the government has been running in Winchester for a very long time. Your mother is how old? 89?
Yeah, she's 89.
And
she'll be hitting 90 next year.
Oh, that's just amazing. I want to tell everybody, this woman's mother, in 2016, was pissed off with the mayor of Winchester, Sean Byram, and took a little sign, just a little political sign, like a small yard sign, and wrote on it with a Sharpie marker, Sean Byram is not my mayor, when that whole big thing, when that thing was going on. So she puts it out in her yard, and it's there for a couple days, and it makes a stink, and I take pictures of it, and I put it on my original show way back when.
Yep, I was there when you were born.
A couple nights go on, and someone comes and steals it. And that she's not to be deterred. She goes out there and gets another sign. They might have even been my signs that we bent around the other way when I ran and stapled so she could write on them, I think. And she bent another one around and wrote it on it again and sticks it back in the yard. And it's out there for a couple days. And they come and they tear it down again. And so then she's like, we're trying to like booby trap this thing. We're trying to like hook it up with like electric current and do all this. And so finally she's like, I'm done pissing with the small signs. So she goes and gets one of the big, and then this one was one of my 4x4 signs.
Exactly.
That we painted. And we painted it, put it in the yard, get it with the big ass, the T stakes, put it down on the ground. And that goes up there. She gets a light, puts on it, it's shining, it's there. They come and they steal that sign. And I'm telling you, this woman had a battle with these people for months. To the point that the county government came and the police served her with paperwork telling her that she needed to take the sign out of her yard. And her mom's like, if you don't have a warrant, you guys were like, if you don't have a warrant, get back out to the street.
Actually, when they came to give her that warrant, they had my address where I live at, because she owned this property here, right here. And so, yeah, and she was like, I don't have a sign in that yard.
Yes, yes,
She lives on South Meridian, and I live on Southeast Street. So, yeah, it was, but,
She actually sued them. She sued them with the ACLU and won.
And won, cost the county about a little over $38,000 to rewrite the sign ordinance in Winchester.
And she was able to keep that damn sign up and she kept it up. I remember you guys kept it up and like took it down. It was a big ceremony. They took it down like 11:30 on December 31st. It was a big ordeal.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, she did. She and I was one of her. She was like, if your father was alive, he wouldn't want this. And I'm like, Mom, you've got to stand your grounds. They are not, you had brothers that went to World War II,
Well, her problem is her health didn't allow her to go to the meetings. And she wanted to go to the meetings to express her outrage by what the government was doing. And it wasn't like she's not bedridden. The reason that her health didn't allow her to go to the meetings is because she would go to the meetings and get so pissed off, it would like elevate her heart rate and her blood pressure. So they said, you can't come to these meetings. And the doctors and the kids kept her out of the meetings. And so the way that I remember her calling me and asking me if she could do that. And I was like, yeah, you can put a sign in your yard.
And, even with one of the smaller signs, they burned it in the yard.
They burned it in their yard. I forgot that.
Yeah. And excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
And the chief of police comes down. Oh, that's just a bunch of kids. That was in September.
Yeah.
It was hot that year. It could have caught the grass, moved right up to everybody's properties, It could have took off.
Yeah.
But thank God it didn't.
No, dude,
that's when they came knocking. That's when I got my wake up call.
Yes.
When nobody acts in Winchester until they knock on your door, until it's in your yard.
Yeah.
And and I did my duty. I by voting when I turned 18 back in 77. But I, you've taught me a lot. I I didn't do my homework on the candidates. I was raised, which I haven't said. I'm running on a Democrat. You have a Democrat Party ticket and District 4. But I didn't really want to start off with the Democrat thing because I have talked to my Democrat chair lady, and I am so hurt, and I want to vomit again, Chris. I want to vomit again because the past chairmen are upset with her for doing the same thing they did.
Yeah.
And what really makes me vomit and what makes it hurt is because I love the two people in the clerk's office, Vicky Haney and Carrie. And then I come to find out they're voting in primaries as a Republican.
Yeah, yes.
I'm like, the Democrat Party's been defrauding us right under our nose.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I was raised in a Democrat house. I mean, my father was he worked at AFCO. He worked there until, I want to say, like the mid 80s, like 20 some years. And he ended up going to Chrysler in Newcastle.
Okay.
Because back in the 80s, they were pushing college. And there was a college guy that applied for a foreman's job, and they gave it to him. And my dad had already had 20 some years in. And he's like, okay, went to Chrysler, and they hired him. And he gave AFCO his 2 weeks notice. And then he retired at Chrysler down at Newcastle.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
But yeah.
So, I mean, you guys have had a pretty long history of being upset with the government in Winchester. What are you hoping to accomplish? So people know you live in the district where Lisa Friend is your council member. You right now have no representation. Taxation without representation.
Lisa who?
Yeah.
Lisa who?
Yeah. So you guys have no counselor to call up. You could contact your at-large council member, Tom Sells, a nice enough guy, but he doesn't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like so
out of the whole group, he really is the only one that listens.
Yeah, honestly. So what are you hoping to accomplish through your run?
Just what I'm doing right now, talking to you and listening. Pretty much.
I love it.
Follow the law, because it's going to be my walkway. If I'm following that and listening to you, we shouldn't go wrong here.
Well,
I mean, I'm going to look at it that I'm going to address it. I'll bring it to the proper people. I will follow through to that. And at the bottom line, is it going to benefit the future of Winchester?
Right.
And a lot of it in the last years that I've been more aware, it's that we follow the county too closely. We need to cut our ties.
God. I didn't know you were bringing all the props. I love it. Oh, good Lord. That's amazing.
Yeah. So what do I bring? I bring that I care, Chris.
Sure.
And I was told by my oldest niece that, and you can't come to this with wearing your sleeves,
Yeah.
with your heart.
Yeah.
But, that was a challenge for me. I'm coming with my heart because, okay. So when I was coming up, my neighbors out there they were my authority. They watched out for our safeties and everything. And so we were in that group. I always see my father help our neighbors. And then we moved to town, and you want to be that neighborly person. So like being my mom at her age, she gets out and does this and this. So if you don't see her for a couple days,
Sure.
you go over and,
Yeah.
hey, Miss Betty.
Yeah.
That's how it was done. And then if the farmer, couldn't get it in, they helped each other. And I feel that if we show that this body of government that we're trying to break the cycle is what we're trying to do here.
Yes.
And show that we're caring and listening, everything else will fall in place.
Absolutely.
It's transparency. You can't be just going in there, even though if there's one person in there, you do got to do due process in this system. And my God, how did these young men
Yes.
know what's going on today?
Yeah.
That would happen.
Right.
Yeah. They were young men. That blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it does. So, yeah.
Well, very good. So what would you, before we bring everybody else on, what would you say, what's your, when you're out talking to people and you talk to somebody that maybe the one or two people that might not know you in town, if you talk to somebody new, maybe that's just moved to Winchester, what would you tell them? Who are you? What are you about? And what do they need to know about you?
Actually, there's a lot more I got to say, Chris.
Sure.
Then getting like I'm 65 years old. I realize how blessed I am, and to here, let me help myself here. About me, when I was telling you about checking on your neighbors and everything, and bringing opportunities. A restaurant, we need opportunities.
Yeah.
That's because when I was growing up, my parents came here to pay their electric bill. They came here, couldn't wait to get to town. 5 dime stores, every shop around this curb. In fact, I also want to jump back. I was in the parade when I was about 9 years old. I got to ride my pony up to my uncle's house, and then he chauffeured me with his horses out to the cemetery, the Fountain City Cemetery. And that's where the parade started when I was 9 years old, and came up Main Street, past the lights, and went down that next block and turned a left, came up by the post office, and came back all the way down.
Yeah.
So, and their advertisement, you could not go into a business without Mardi Gras or any advertisement. Everybody was helping each other to grow. And now we don't, there's like right now, it's not a done deal yet, but our goal is trying to buy some land out on west side of Winchester here, 200 out by the speedway racetrack. But nobody's talking about it.
Right.
They're talking about it could be anywhere to 65 acres to 150 acres, and they need by the railroad tracks. Looking at maybe I think it was 1,300 people is what I've heard through the grapevines. Nobody's talking about it.
What are they wanting to buy that for? Are they trying to open another facility or
They're
open a
going to put
facility and
the
move?
high-skilled machinery in there
Okay.
for glassware. It's going to be a factory, but
Okay.
nobody's talking about it. So it's another hush hush until it's dotted on the lines.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to say, this is what I care. Joan Ashley knows how blessed she is. $5,000 a year is not going to make it break me. So I am giving my wages to the community of Winchester. I want to find out. I know why them yards are not being mowed, because there's no opportunities, no decent job. I don't need another gas station. I don't need another restaurant. They will come after you bring opportunities. And we've talked about Fowler wanting this to be a retirement community. Where is the balance for the children and the citizens that are here? And how do you expect the children that leave to come back visit you to bring you their children? Well, I don't want to go there. There's nothing to do in Winchester.
Right.
Nothing to do. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure that and I also noticed in the last candidates that, Niles, he wants to get in, do his 4 years, get out. But I want to say that, but I don't know if my job will be done in 4 years.
I can respect that.
I don't know where this is going to lead me, but
Sure.
I do know that I have to stand up and use my voice.
I can respect both of those points of view. The candidate that says I only want to do 4, or say again.
My brother just called. I told him not to call me until he heard from me.
Yeah, that's okay.
But anyway, but to know me, I can be your best friend, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To differ myself from all of them, I'm just a plain Jane.
Yeah.
I don't care what the Joneses have. I know what I'm blessed. So.
Well, good. Good. Well, Joan, I appreciate your time. If you don't mind, I'd like to bring up the rest of our guests, and I have a couple of questions for the whole group, and we'll see how that goes. Give me just a second here. We'll bring in Coy, and we'll bring in Karen, and we'll bring in Kate. We're all here. Ta-da! So, well, thank you guys for all joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no problem. I wanted to ask you guys as a whole, just kind of see what you guys thought and ask. Joan kind of hit on it a little bit, and there's been a couple commenters talk about, how local politics, party doesn't really matter. And I agree. I say that all the time. People get so bent on being Republican or Democrat on the local level. It does not matter. None of you are running Republican currently. And what I hate about that is there are some damn good candidates that are running on this side of Winchester, meaning, in my opinion, the good side. There, Josh, we've not heard from Josh yet. We're going to hear from him on Sunday. But Josh is a good candidate. Eric's a good candidate. Karen's a good candidate. Joan's a good candidate. You guys are all great candidates. What really...
I'd love to work with any of you guys.
Yeah, right. See, that's the thing. You guys could work together. Have any of you considered...
But there's the operative word. Work.
Yeah, right. Work. Because that doesn't normally happen. Have you or would you consider running as the dreaded R as a Republican if you don't get in either this time or some other time in the future? Or are you guys hard fast in who you are? What's your thoughts with that?
I was a Republican forever. I ran as a Republican in '99, and I'm a Libertarian now, so I probably stay with my party.
Okay.
I
Thank you,
was a
Coy.
Republican up until, let's see, 2012.
Okay.
But as of right now, I can actually run as a Republican next year
Okay.
if I needed to. Because everybody, I've worked the polls for the last 10 years, and everybody that comes in is always asking, how do I vote straight ticket? How do I vote straight ticket? So that's the biggest thing, is everybody just comes in and hits the straight ticket, doesn't care about who's on the ballot. They just care about the party.
It's so frustrating.
Right.
It's so frustrating because that's what happens. So, as far as I don't know did all of you watch last night's interviews with the three people?
Yes.
Or at least parts of it. Okay. So, I know some of you are running against the same people, but, if any of you are intermeshed, you do feel like you could work well with those people. And the opposite end of that is, do you feel that you could tell those people no, or do you think that you could vote against those people? Would you be able to do both of those things?
Absolutely.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely, I could work with them. Heck, I could
And
work with
even
the
on
ones that are in office now.
Exactly. I was
They
getting ready to say
open up
that.
their minds.
Even if worse came to worse and it was the same people in right now and I got in, I could work with everybody. I mean, anybody that's in there, I can work with everybody. It's not personal
for me.
It's not personal. It's just,
I care.
Yep.
And I know I've seen my rights and this community stripped to the bare now. I mean, honestly, I was here when everything was booming, and I'm stripped. My quality of living has been stripped, and we need a future. We need hope.
I want to put the joy back into Winchester. So.
Oh God, that's why the middle name. I get it. I knew there was a reason.
Wanda's got a good point. You guys are running not as loyalty to your party. You're running out of loyalty to the citizens, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. That's the way it should be.
Exactly.
I love it.
Because I see coming to town that this is a big family.
Yeah.
I see it as raising a child as a village.
Yeah.
And legally, I have no children.
I have some you can have.
No, I learned very early to sugar them up, them nieces and nephews, and take them home.
Okay, never mind.
Well, I mean,
Karma came back around with my partner. She's been blessed with a grandson, so he's mine. So
Joan's my husband's aunt. So
You guys are.
You didn't ask us if we knew each other.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You guys you guys all know each other, basically.
Yeah, I know of Corey because I know of his father.
I went to school with Coy back even when he was working at the Stallion Sportswear doing screen printing.
It was a 5 and dime.
I like that Karen's going to put the joy back in the party, or back in Winchester. So I can just only assume that Hugh is going to put the Coy back in Winchester.
So I'm the Ashley. Donkey.
Oh, good God. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys coming on and talking with us.
Thank you
for having us again.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you all very much. And we will follow the election, and love to have any of you on again. If you guys
before you let us go.
Yeah.
Early voting has already started in Randolph County.
Yeah.
You can go vote Monday through Friday at the courthouse from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. There's a break from 12 to 1 for their lunch. We'd all appreciate your guys' votes. Whoever you choose, Hopefully you choose me, but whoever y'all choose, hopefully it's one of us. We appreciate all of your votes. We appreciate your time that you're taking out of your day to go vote for us. And there's also some other days that you can go vote for early election. If you go to the City of Winchester on Facebook, I've posted it on there, what the hours are and times where you can go vote, and locations.
Besides the Monday, because basically it's over. So this week it'll be Monday through Friday, and then they get a vote this next Saturday, last Saturday, and this Saturday.
This Saturday, and I think there's,
and then the Monday before. This Saturday from 8 until noon at some weird place, and then next Saturday from 8 until noon at some other weird place.
I think it's at the Lutheran Church over in Union City.
Okay.
But
Winchester Randolph County has vote centers, so you can vote anywhere, folks. Keep that in mind.
It's a screenshot.
Point of order.
It's let's see, Saturday, October 28th from 9 to 12 at the courthouse. Saturday, November 4th from 9 to 1 at the courthouse. Monday, November 6th from 9 to 1 at the courthouse. Saturday, October 28th from 9 to 1 at the Lutheran Church, and Saturday, November 4th at the Trinity Lutheran Church in Union City. And on Election Day, you can vote at the Randolph County Courthouse. You can vote at Trinity Lutheran Church. You can vote at the 4-H Fairgrounds, Houston Hall, the Union City Community Room, and the Calvary United Methodist Church in Ridgeville.
Did you also say that you can vote Monday before the election?
Yes.
Okay.
9 to 1.
And
Election Day, the polls are open 6 to 6. As long as you're in line before 6 o'clock, they will let you vote.
Wouldn't it be awesome if Winchester voted like 70%?
Oh, I would love it.
That would be amazing.
That way everybody gets out, tells you who they want.
If Winchester votes
a little minority
70%, everybody in Winchester better be on the lookout. Because if they vote 70%, it means all those people are gone. It means everybody's gone next election in the county. So if somebody comes out that big, I mean, if it comes out, that's just what I always say.
Williams,
I think you're wishing
looking
in
for
one
my
hand
road.
and shitting in
Nice
the other.
road.
What'd you say, Joan?
Missy Williams, I'm looking for them nice, pretty roads that Greenville has.
Oh,
You have that.
And before we do, one other thing.
Yes.
All the bridge issues in the city,
Yes.
that has nothing to do with the city. The county
Yes.
owns every single bridge in the county, even the
Yes.
cities.
Even in the city. So
Yeah,
yes.
but the mayor could have his ass in those
why
meetings.
Carl
Yes, he
didn't
could.
think-
Yeah.
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 Hey,
Well,
JD,
Because there's another
I
one getting
think
ready to
it's
close, and
time.
it's the one down here on Short Street between
I think it's a good time for
East
Joan
City.
Ashley to run.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys joining us, and we will talk with you all again.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, see you
Vote
guys.
for Joan Ashley.
All right, we're gonna put Coy down here. We're gonna put Joan down, and we're gonna put Karen down. Thank you guys. Well, that was fun. So holy crap. That was
It's always a fun time having candidates on. It's nice
oh
to
yeah,
hear other
yeah,
people's
absolutely.
views.
Yeah. Before
And it's been interesting to see the different Winchester candidates.
yeah, oh
Because
yeah.
everybody has had something else that they are really passionate about.
Yes.
And
yes.
they're all different. All of them have
yeah.
different things that they really care passionately about, which having someone who's, like Coy, who's like, we need affordable housing. This is his, and then having, Joni and wanting to bring hope and bring jobs. I mean, having individual counselors focusing on different things, I mean, they could really make a difference if we can get them in office. So it's been fun to listen.
They really, really could. I mean, it's amazing. This has been like, I'm really kind of in a funk over the political scene in Muncie and what's going on currently and what will be going on. But Winchester, I mean, it's an uphill battle, but it's more of kind of like an uphill. It used to be an up mountain battle, and now it's kind of like an uphill. You know, and I can deal with that because
and we've seen that in the past few elections where we've had the contested races where people like me have gotten a third of the vote against the straight ticket, which has been remarkable. People are starting to pay attention and listen, and doing things like this and getting the candidates' messages out, I think makes a difference. And Eric is asking if any of the incumbents have even responded to requests for interviews.
For Winchester, I have received no response from anyone on the incumbents. No one. Matter of fact, ever since the big Lewis video where we came out, I have been trying to get a hold of Bob to try and say, hey, dude, like, you know, we may be mortal enemies, but the thing is, you know, I wasn't going to ever say that you were a rapist or a molester, and that's not something that I would have done. I never said those words or anything close to it. And I was giving you an opportunity. It was like a gift, because obviously in my world, I thought if it didn't happen, he wouldn't say that it happened. You know what I mean? And so when the answers that came out of that are answers that he said, and so it was what it was. And I was like, you know, that's not me. So, you know, I wanted to tell him that, and I wanted to talk with him, but he wouldn't get with me. And that I hated it then, and I hate it now. They wouldn't let me know anything about coming on. I reached out to everyone else, and I've heard nothing from them. But I just assume that they are basically like all Indiana Republicans, and I say that's a bad word in my opinion. Indiana Republicans. I
love Donald Rainwater. He said, "Quit calling them rhinos. They're not Republican in name only. This is what the Indiana Republican Party has become."
It is what it is. Oh,
and it is a dirty word.
Yeah, absolutely. Here it is. I found it. It's taken me a little bit of time, but I did find this, and I did not want to leave here without showing this. Give me 1 second here. I'm sharing it.
Oh no, Christopher's frozen.
Yeah,
he's over
yeah. Okay, here we go.
Let's see it. Well, the Libertarians, for a lot of parts, Coy, are pretty conservative. Yes, there it is.
Here's the Sean Byram is not my mayor sign, and the post that went along with this. This was on January 1st, 2020. The post that went along with this said, "So for the last time in the late hours of 12/31/19, or in the early hours of 1/1/20, Mrs. Betty Ashley's sign was stolen. We're not sure who took the sign, but I can only hope that it makes its way to Sean Byram so that he can hang it in his class and tell stories about the time that he was mayor and fought the crazy people. His story, however, would not be factual. Keep in mind that local government in Winchester, Randolph County attempted to infringe upon Miss Ashley's and your First Amendment rights in 2018. Reference this very sign, and she An 86-year-old woman at the time fought back to fight for her First Amendment rights and yours. Remember, free speech isn't always speech that you like. It's quite often speech that you don't like. It's still free, and it must be protected and fought for if need be. A perfect end to a troubling time. The second picture is a text conversation that Sean and I had on October 2018, talking about him coming on a live video episode of mine, at the time an unnamed show, to be interviewed in like every other candidate in that election did, including his opponents. He chose not to, and this was the first time we spoke of perception and reality. I have to give Sean thanks for what he helped me create, and I mean that with all sincerity. He helped me put me on this path, and for that, sir, I thank you. His words are highlighted in red, mine are highlighted in blue. And I'll let you guys see this as well. This is a Sean Byram text message. But this choice that I assumed you would make, but I felt I had a responsibility to send you the same invitation that I sent to everyone. I guess sometimes I question the way you handle things, this being one of those times. Imagine had you taken me up on this offer, there would have, and I don't know what the rest of it said. He said, I think your perception is whatever you want it to be. I don't think I'd go as far as to say yours is reality. I've heard your pack. You made some flyers, right? I said, I guess we'll see whose perception is reality in just about 30 days. Good luck. Have a great evening. He said, thank you. I came out victorious. Sean was not our state representative. Instead, we elected another complete tool bag. That was J.D. Prescott. And now we must remove him as well. But I just wanted to show you that and show you those pictures of Mrs. Ashley's sign. You should see it because by that time it was a very crude sign. She had spent a lot of time making it nice. We had painted these signs up and made them real white, and she had made them nice. And they were taken down, stolen, kicked. The sign fiasco of 2017 and 2018 actually caused 3 different properties on South Meridian Street in Winchester to get a total of 24 security cameras. I think the Ashleys had like 10. I think I had like 10 or 12, and another house had some. And we literally could see from the county building, the courthouse, all the way down to like Orange Street. For those of you in Winchester, we had
that's like 5 blocks.
We had the whole 5 blocks covered. It was amazing. You couldn't enter a house, be on a property, dude. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So it is what it is. But I tell you what, I loved watching the tenacity of Joan's mother, and to see what she did and what she put up. She literally
we know where Joan gets it from.
Oh, absolutely. She literally stared down the cop and she said, do you have a warrant? And he said, no. And she said, then go back to your car. I love it, dude.
It did end up hurting the mayor. It ended up hurting his reputation. It ended up hurting his run for state representative.
It did.
Now, of course, that means that we got stuck with JD. But I mean, that election was really tough because you have your choice between an idiot and a socialist.
Right.
A socialist idiot.
Oh, okay. Both idiots. One a Christian farming idiot, and the other a socialist idiot. So,
Christian,
We'll use
was that
Christian loosely.
Christian
yeah, we'll
Mingle?
use Christian loosely.
Was that carbon sequestration and penetration?
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, that was great. Joan did win her ACLU lawsuit, and it cost Randolph County.
Betty, not Joan.
Oh yeah, not Joan. Yeah, Mrs. Ashley, Joan's mother. That's what I meant.
It is kind of the same thing.
Yeah. One and the same. One and the same thing. It was absolutely amazing. I think what JD is doing to Josh will cause him harm in his. I believe that too, Eric. I very much believe that, and that's why it's important for us to cover that and to continue to watch that. And it's ludicrous that he has not even. It's ludicrous that he has not even been read his initial charges yet. That is unheard of in the American justice system. The fact that the incident happened now 3 months ago, and that he's been charged for over a month at this point, and that he doesn't have. Josh, are you still here? When is court date? I don't think it's until January. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't understand.
That may be the most libertarian thing I've ever seen, Coy.
Yeah, that's a really good. I don't know where you stole that from, or if you just brought that out of your brain, but I like that. A man's rights rest in 3 boxes: the ballot box, the jury box, and the cartridge box. I think right now we're at a point where if we don't use the ballot box more, we're going to the cartridge. Yeah. I like that. I really like that. Right. He had a chance here to show his light, yet she shed. Yeah, absolutely, Jack. Absolutely. I've not seen you in a long time. I'm glad you're here, man. So I said that we would do some stuff on Muncie and Henry County, but I think that this is probably a good place to leave this episode, and we will just get to the Muncie stuff and Henry County stuff on Monday. Remember, we have a special show tomorrow because I will not be at the studio. We will be in Spookville tomorrow, so I will let you guys know what's going on there. Sunday, we will have the always beautiful Joshua Kimbrell on talking to us for the duration of that show. And then Monday, we will have just kind of a boring show. It'll just be me and you guys. And we'll talk about the Muncie stuff then. I've got a lot of things to be bringing you about this Muncie election in the next week. We're going to be very, very busy. Tuesday is when I'm going to interview Dark Dan. And on the flip side of the Tuesday show, I'm going to tell you basically who I want to win in all of the various areas.
I have a question. Have we gotten any Sproul's body cam footage from?
No, not yet. I'm still waiting. I'm still working on that.
Hurry up.
Yeah, I know they're killing me. I'm going to contact them Monday. So that's it, folks. And I think I will probably, I'm going to probably chop down that little speech thing I did about that Betty Ashley sign and put it in its own video. That was a damn good little speech. All right, folks, you guys have a good evening. Take care. God bless. And we will see you back here. Well, I won't be on here tomorrow at 9 p.m., but be looking because we will go live momentarily tomorrow at some point, but it will be later in the evening because remember, we're doing the ghost hunt thing, so I don't know what's going to happen, but we will go live. It'll be some strangers there, I'm sure. And then I will see you back here at 9 p.m. Sunday. Take care. God bless. Good night. I'm out. Ha ha ha!